Welcome to tutorialsinhand.com. In this video tutorial we are going to show how to print numbers in reverse order from 10 to 1. You can use this template to print numbers in reverse order from anywhere till anywhere you want. For now we are going to focus on printing the numbers from 10 to 1. So let's see how we can do that. But before we print numbers from 10 to 1, we are going to see the difference between while and do while. So we have written the same program using while earlier, right? Now we are going to see how we can do the same using do while, and here you will be able to understand the difference between while and do while. So what we are doing is, since we want to print the numbers from 10 to 1, so we have initialized number as 10. So we will start from 10, and then what we are doing, it is saying do this. So there is no condition, nothing, there is no condition check. So you are directly entering into the body of the do while, and when you enter within the body of do while, it is printing the number, that is the value contained in init num for the first time, and then you are saying okay, init num minus minus. That means now I have printed the value that was initially there. Now do the minus minus, make 10 9, and it will become 9, and now the condition will get checked. So you can see over here that in do while the condition is checked later. That means even if the condition does not turn out to be true, operation will be performed at least once, as is happening in this case, because we have written init num greater than 10 as a condition, and you can see that the value of init num is 10 initially. So 10 greater than 10 will turn out to be false. But even if the condition turns out to be false, then also one execution of this loop is happening. If you execute this, you will see the output as 10. You can see that 10 is getting printed, and then the program is coming out of the while loop because the condition does not satisfy. So you will perform the operation at least once, and then you will check the condition. But in while what happens, the condition is checked at the beginning, and if it does not match, if the condition does not turn out to be true, then you will not be allowed to enter within this body and nothing will get printed. If you give same condition in the while loop, it will not print 10, means nothing will get printed. But in do while it will at least print for the first time. So this is the difference between while and do while. Now we have the task at hand where we want to print the numbers from 10 to 1. So here we have to just modify this condition to greater than 0 so that we can get the numbers from 10 to 1. So if you run this, you will get the numbers getting printed from 10 to 1, and this is very simple program. Now we are going to see how this is working. So let's run in debug mode so that you can see the values in each and every iteration. So this is the very first iteration where the value of init num is 10. And for the first time when you enter within this do while loop, the value of init num is 10. So once this line of code is executed, you will get 10 printed on the console. So now press F6 and you will see 10 is getting printed because this line is getting executed and you are getting 10. Now init num minus minus will be done. Now if you press F6, now you move ahead, and now the value of init num becomes 9 because init num minus minus will make the value 10 to 9, and now the condition will be checked after you have performed this operation first time without any condition check, right? Now 9 greater than 0 is true, and so you will again enter within this do while, press F6 and you will have a new value of init num as 9. Now see, the value of init num became 9, and now if you execute, now this line of code is executed and you get 9 printed on the console. And now you will check the condition, that means 9 minus minus is done. So 9 minus minus makes init num as 8. So 8 greater than 0 is getting checked. So 8 greater than 0 is true, and so again it will enter within the do while loop. Now the value of init num became 8. So once you press F6 again and this line of code is executed, you will get 8 printed on the console. And now 8 minus minus will be done, and it will make the value of init num as 7. press F6 and you will see the value of init num becomes 7. Now 7 greater than 0 is compared and it turns out to be true. So again it will enter within the do while. Remember, I am pressing F6 button to perform the execution of every single instruction. So F6 is done. Now the value of init num became 7, and now if you press F6, this execution of this line is done and you will get 7 printed on the console. And again 7 minus minus will be done. It will make it 6. 6 greater than 0 will be true and it will again enter within do while, and now the value becomes 6 and 6 will get printed, and 6 minus minus is done over here. So now if you go ahead in the while loop, it will check 5 greater than 0. It will also turn out to be true, and again you will enter within do while and the value becomes 5. And if you press F6 now, it will print 5 over here because the value became 5 now. Now 5 minus minus will be done and 5 minus minus will make it 4. 4 greater than 0 will be checked and it will turn out to be true. So again it will enter within the do while, and now the value became 4. Now if you press F6, it will become 4, and now 4 minus minus will be done and the value becomes 3. 3 greater than 0 will be checked. It will again turn out to be true, and thus it again enters the do while loop and the value now becomes 3. 3 get printed on the console once this line is executed. Press F6 and this line is executed and you get 3 printed over here. And now 3 minus minus will be done. It will become 2. 2 greater than 0 will be checked. It will turn out to be true and again it will enter within the do while. 3 minus minus made it 2, and now the value of init num is 2. If you press F6, once this is executed, the value is getting printed, and now 2 minus minus will be done. 2 minus minus will become 1. 1 greater than 0 will be true, and we will again enter within do while and print the value contained within the init num, and the value is 1. So once this line of code is executed, it will print 1 on the console, and now 1 minus minus is done. That makes it 0. So now 0 greater than 0 will be compared. The condition turns out to be false and we will not enter within the do while loop, and thus the do while loop ends. You can see the do while ends because condition did not satisfy and it turned out to be false, and thus we come out of do while loop and the program ends by giving us numbers from 10 to 1. So only the difference is that the condition is not checked in the beginning as is done in the while loop. Here you will first perform the task at least once and then the condition is checked, right? So condition is checked later in do while, whereas in while the condition is checked at the beginning, and if it does not satisfy, it will not print even for a single time. And this is the simplest difference between while and do while. So we have written the same program for printing numbers from 10 to 1 using while loop and also do while loop. You can see both the video tutorials to do the comparison and understand how there is a difference between these two loops working condition, right? So now if you want to change it from some number to another number, like you want to change print from 100 till 95, so what you will do, just make this condition 100 to 94 and run this. So you are printing it from 100 to 95. So I will suggest you to play around with this one and try to print the numbers from anywhere to anywhere. Pick any random number and try to print it till it reaches some other number, and see if you are able to write that code easily on your own or not. And once you are done, be sure that you have understood do while loop, and if you have not understood, I would suggest you to go ahead and play around as much as you can. Keep coding and you will definitely be able to understand. If there is any issue that you face, please write in the comment section. We will definitely help you. And if you have enjoyed this video tutorial and have understood the concept, then please don't forget to subscribe our channel.